Hi, Scott Stride here. This is part 2 of 3 on the Novadreamer mask. This is the Novadreamer mask. It has an adjustable, flexible strap that's secured with Velcro. This is the inside of the mask. There's foam padding on the inside as it goes against your face. The mask is worn like this, above the ears. When using the mask, the best sleep position is on your back. It's also possible to sleep on your left or right side. However, the problem with that is the mask tends to press against your face and shift around somewhat during sleep. The mask in that case could give false positives because mask movement could possibly be detected as eye movement, which is incorrect. The Dreamlight didn't have this problem because it had a sensor in the side of the mask that detected face movement, which tended to reduce the number of false positives on the mask. The one position that's not supposed to be used in is face down, because that could possibly damage or bend the circuit board inside. On the inside of the mask can be seen the infrared LED, the infrared phototransistor down here, and the two LEDs that flash the cues. On the front there is a button that has multiple functions, and I'll discuss these later. This is the mask circuit. There's Velcro that holds it in. The mask basically works by illuminating the closed eyelid with an infrared light that reflects back to the phototransistor. During REM, the eyeball moves around under the eyelid, causing the reflected IR to change in intensity. The phototransistor signal is then amplified and compared in two stages to reference voltages. If the signal pulse is strong enough, it gets counted by the microcontroller. When enough counts accumulate, the microcontroller flashes the LEDs. The dreamer is then supposed to notice the light cues in their dream and recognize that they are dreaming. The unit is powered by two AAA batteries. It did not come with an on-off switch, so it must be placed in the dark when not being used. This conserves battery life by reducing the light coming into the phototransistor and the amplifiers. The unit has a 10-position dial right here. The button here is the reality test control button that works in conjunction with the control dial when programming the mask. When the mask is in sleep mode, it uses a number of 10-minute delays. These are achieved by pressing this button right here. For instance, 4 presses of the button makes a 40-minute delay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this will delay the mask from delivering cues. The button can also be used to reset the mask by holding it down to deliver a reality test cue when that is done. There is a small buzzer here that can also be used to deliver audible cues to the dreamer. This is a 1/8 inch stereo audio jack that allows 2 of the microcontroller I/O ports to be connected to an external TTL read-write device like the PEST, the Dream Speaker, or the Super Novadreamer. When connected to the PEST, the Novadreamer can be used to cause it to invoke a vibration cue. When connected to the Super Novadreamer, the port allows the mask to be both programmed and its memory read out. The operation manual describes in detail how to use the mask. If you like, you can download the manual from Lucid. As you can see, this mask has been modified. First, I added an on-off switch here. The advantage of the switch is the batteries last a long time. The disadvantage is the mask loses its user program settings when it's turned off. I also added small sockets where the LEDs go, right here and here. I did this so that I could change the light colors to blue, green, red, or any other LED color that's available. I merely pull out the old one and plug in the new one in the right spot, and now I've got new colors. Then I added a normally closed optical switch to the back, you can see right here, and some jumper wires to allow an external computer to either trigger or inhibit a cue from happening. With this simple modification, I can use the audio port to monitor when cues occur and get the mask to respond. Now I'll show you how to program and set up the mask. Right now it's set on dial position 0, which is the hibernate mode. It's basically asleep waiting to be turned on. Dial position 1 here is a user programmed mode that I've set up ahead of time. Dial position 2 is a pre-programmed mode, which is called light sleep mode. Dial position 3 is medium sleep mode, and dial position 4 is a deep sleep mode, which is for heavy sleepers who need lots of stimulus to get their attention. Dial position 5 sets the number of times the cue flashes between 1 and 255. Right now I'm going to set it for 10 flashes. Dial position 6 sets the intensity or the brightness of the flashes. Okay. Position 7 sets the rate of the flash from 160 milliseconds to 1 second. See, faster. Dial position 8 sets the type of the cue. There are 6 types of cues. 0 is no cues. This is basically used to count how many REM cues occurred without signaling the user. 1 is lights only flashing in both eyes. 2 is lights only, alternating flashes in the eyes. 3 is sound only, which means there's no lights flashing at all. 4 is lights and sound flashing in both eyes simultaneously. And 5 is lights and sound alternating flashes between the eyes. There's a simple acronym for remembering the programming setting. It's called NIRTS, N-I-R-T-S. N stands for number of cues, I stands for intensity, R stands for rate, T for type, and S for sensitivity. Dial position 9, which I'm going to right now, sets the sensitivity adjustments. There are 10 levels, 1 through 10. They're set by holding down the cue button like this. The higher the number, the higher the sensitivity. At the highest sensitivity level 10, it will give the most number of cues. In this position, the mask also reports the number of cues that occurred when the person was asleep. So in going from the 0 mode to the 9 position, it will count from one side to the other the number of cues that occurred, so you know how many times it flashed. This concludes part 2 of the series. In part 3, I'll discuss my opinions about the mask, the experiences I've had with it, the ones I've designed, and ideas for a new dream mask.